Hello folks, my name is David Corbett. I'm the Republican candidate for sheriff in York County, Maine. I'm standing beside a lighthouse that my father made for me. My family were longtime lighthouse keepers in Nova Scotia, Canada. And my grandfather was the first person to come into America. He was an immigrant. He became naturalized, and my father was the first born person, naturally born in America, and then I'm the second generation. The reason why we're sitting in a lighthouse is we believe that Jesus Christ is the light of the world, and the light, when it's shown upon people, will set them free and give them truth. And we're trying to speak truth as to what happened with me, with the buzzsaw that I ran into when I filed to be York County Sheriff. Now let me explain to you why there are so many qualifications on the position of sheriff. You don't find that in other positions, but I'm going to tell you a story that you might find interesting. A number of years ago, I was working in the York County Sheriff's Office as a deputy. I had taken a number of inmates to court. And in the Biddeford court, with the inmates that I had there that day, there was one that was very notorious. Why notorious? Because although he was in my custody, he was also on the ballot in Cumberland County, running as Cumberland County Sheriff. And guess what? He did get a number of votes. After that, the legislature said, no more. We're going to put restrictions on people who could run for sheriff, and they did so. And that's how it all began. Isn't it interesting that I had the person in custody who did that, therefore they changed the law, and now I'm being accused of doing wrong, and I'm not doing wrong. I did what was right. Now I wanted to stop and explain to you not only that story, but also the fact that when we had the hearing going on, and we set the record straight, the next thing that they went after me for was, hey, guess what? No supervisor experience. Now hold the phone. What did not come out in that meeting is that I do have supervisor experience. Just for example, I oversaw a whole bunch of lifeguards for the city of Saco, which is connected to the police department. I also was a shift supervisor, running the shift and other officers when the sergeant was not there on duty. It fell to me or other senior men. I have supervisor experience. But the issue was that is part of the requirement of the law that did not apply at all because of my experience over here at being in law enforcement for a number of years. But they kept hitting that. The York County chair kept hitting that. You don't have supervisor experience, therefore you're not qualified. If she had read the entire law, she would have found out that I was qualified. But she stopped at points 1 and 2, particularly going on number 1 and not going to point 3. At point 3, it said I was exempt for that and I was totally qualified. So I do have experience, and I do have supervisory experience, because I've also mentioned in my tape as we were talking at that meeting, people who are involved in law enforcement are naturally given supervisory experience. You say, why? Well, look this way. When a person today goes into the York County Jail as a corrections officer, and they are overseeing the inmates that are in prison or in the jail, we call that direct supervision rather than indirect supervision. Direct supervision because they're right there with them. They can have 50, 60 people that they're supervising. What do you call that? That's called care, custody, and control of all these people. What is it? It's supervisor experience. What I'm saying to you folks is that the law itself that the legislature thought was going to improve things made it worse. It just muddled the waters, because any officer worth his salt is involved in supervisor experience. There is absolutely no doubt about it. But there again, particularly the chair of the Republican Party kept saying it and spread to others, and I call it a delusion, really, an unqualified delusion, as they talk about. Well, you know what? I am qualified, and the proof of that is what the Secretary of State has said. He is qualified, he's running, he's on the ballot. I need your vote. Please vote for me in the primary in June and again in November. Please post a video and get out there and let the truth set us all free. Thank you for tuning in.